Colossus is the most advanced lineup optimizer in daily fantasy sports. Lock and exclude players. Adjust player exposure to reduce risk of injury or poor performance. Customize individual projections or upload your own projections. Generate hundreds of optimal lineups in seconds. Name and save the best lineups. Create winning lineups for the top sites like DraftKings and FanDuel for free at dailyfantasycafe.com.
Hello and welcome to the Injury Report podcast. I'm Big Italy 42 here, recapping some injuries from Week 6 and as we move into Week 7, talk about some concerns, some current injuries, some past injuries, and their potential impact on Week 7 and potentially forward as well. Courtesy of at Ryan Chase, at Rye Chase on Twitter, and that's where you can find him if you got any questions about this as well. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started off talking about some injuries here. Moving into Week 7. First one, Allen Robinson for the Jags. We got a London game here for him, so it's an early lock. Chances are you probably won't have him in many contests anyway unless you're playing Thursday lock or games that start early Sunday if there are any of those. But Robinson's been phenomenal recently. Last 4 games, 4 touchdowns and 375 yards receiving on 41 targets. He's only caught half of those, but seeing a ton of volume there. Suffered a leg contusion late in the Sunday game against the Texans. X-rays were negative, so that's a good indication there that maybe he is able to play. And it's officially a home game, but considering it's 9:30 in the morning, and you're likely only seeing this on the Thursday slate anyway, like I mentioned, probably not too worried about it. But if you are playing and you do hear bad news about Robinson not playing, Allen Hurns is the guy that's certainly a guy to look at as a viable alternative and a little bit of a cheaper alternative as well. Next up, Carlos Hyde, a foot injury. This is a Thursday game, so another game that's early. Re-aggravated his foot injury in the win over the Ravens, but seems like it will not keep him out. Early indications show that he should be okay. For the game against the Seahawks, though, it's going to be an interesting tournament option, as Ryan mentions here, but 95% of players he likes to avoid there, and an uncertain status could be a guy that you look at for low ownership because people are afraid of that. And Jim Tomsula, head coach, dismissed the injury, said it is not plantar fasciitis related, and does expect him to play. We also could see Reggie Bush returning. Hasn't played since Week 1, so that could definitely cut into some workload. And even if Hyde does play, maybe we see Bush cut into that a little bit if they're both healthy in this game. So monitor that for the Thursday action. Next up, Sammy Watkins, and he has an ankle injury. This one's interesting because we saw him catch that touchdown pass right before the half, injure his ankle. And another big question mark here. And he left the game, did not return, was on a walking boot as of Monday morning. And the Bills landed in London here. So very, very questionable. Percy Harvin's already out. If Watkins can't go, it's going to be LaShawn McCoy and Charles Clay show. They're going to see tons of touches, tons of looks. And both guys could be good cash game tournament plays there, especially if Tyrod Taylor returns and we see Watkins and potentially Harvin as well, both out. That could be a big hit to that Bills offense, but going to be plenty to go around for the other few guys. Next up, Mike Vick with a hamstring injury, and he wasn't playing very well against the Cardinals at all. Landry Jones came in, looked great, 2 touchdowns to Martavis Bryant. Ben Roethlisberger has been trying to get back on the field. He's questionable for this week, and you got to imagine that Landry Jones should be the starter based on how he played, even if Ben Roethlisberger, assuming that Ben Roethlisberger does not go. But this is a Chiefs secondary that's very, very exploitable. So if Jones plays and Ben Roethlisberger is still sitting out, got to like his potential. If Vic for some reason starts, I think he's a really risky proposition. But could see Ben Roethlisberger back. So if Ben Roethlisberger's back, this is going to be kind of a moot point. It's going to be just a backup situation anyway. So keep your eyes on that as we look into next week. Last one here, Jordan Reed with the concussion. It's possible that he's cleared for this week, and he's facing off against a Buccaneers team at home. And Reed really has great chemistry with Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins has not been good, but he uses Jordan Reed as his primary target down the field in the short passing game as well. And we'll see if he clears concussion protocol this week or not. Deshaun Jackson re-aggravated his injury, so he's likely to sit out once again, so they're going to need all the help they can get on the offensive side. And if Jordan Reed is back, certainly a guy that you're going to be targeting. And that's going to wrap things up. Week 7 injury report. I'm Big Italy 42. Find us on Twitter at DF Cafe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Got lots of great content at dailyfantasycafe.com for NFL and every other sport, and very, very soon NBA content as well. And we'll see you next time.